Good morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever time it is for you whenever you watch this. I want to share something with y'all that I do that has helped me to like be more mindful and to be more present whenever I'm in meditation, especially if there are certain things that I'm working through or whatever. So I love essential oils. My mom really loved essential oils. She had this huge case of oils. And so whenever she passed away, I mean, they were just there. And my dad was like, someone needs to take all these oils. And I've always been really drawn to oils. I love essential oils. And so I was able to receive all of her oils. And so since that time, I've learned so much about essential oils. I'm very holistic. I love plants. I love nature. I love learning how to heal our body and our mind and our spirit through natural ways. I am not pharmacy. I'm not against, medications whenever we need them and everything. They're a gift. But at the same time, I think that we can utilize and use what God has given us in this life to help us to heal our bodies and our minds and our spirits. So something I'm sitting here today. I first will begin with rose and frankincense, because I love frankincense. It makes me think about Jesus Christ. It's such an ancient, deep oil, and just the smell of it is just so ancient to me, and it helps me to think of Christ. And then rose is just, it is Mary. It is, every time you see Mary, there's always roses around her. And it reminds me of my grandmother. She always had rose soaps, and she would smell like roses. And I've just had a lot of experiences with rose. And if you're interested in this, and you understand vibration and you understand frequency and all that kind of stuff, you can measure, like science is coming to understand all these things. You can measure the frequency or the vibration of things. And rose and frankincense have the highest vibration of plants. Like rose is the highest, and then frankincense is under that. So I like to just breathe those in as I begin my meditation, and because it helps me to just get very present and to get very mindful of, and just brings me into that state of meditation. Whenever we get our senses involved in stuff, it helps so much. So today, as I'm sitting here, just contemplating, I had the thought to grab one that is called Release. This is one that I've used many times to just release stuff out of my mind, just to clear things, just release other people, release whatever I might have going on within me that I just need to not. There are patterns within me and behaviors and ways of thinking that are very codependent. I grew up in very codependent, I've just learned a lot of codependency behaviors and ways of thinking, with other people. And so this has helped me a lot to be able to just sit, breathe it in, and release people, surrender people to God. So today, I'm sitting here thinking about needing to release other people's expectations, release my way, my will, just surrender it. So I will just let a drop into my hand like so. And I just like to, it just brings you just very present. And since my intention is to release, like that is the name of that oil, and so it's very intentional. And so I release my need to please. I release my need to be a certain way. I release my control. I release my addiction to social media is a thing that is very addictive. I release just that feeling of other people's expectations. Like that is a huge thing. Because I have had a pattern within me of people pleasing my whole life. I want to please people. I want to make people happy. I want to do what other people want me to do. I've had that pattern of being able to be a chameleon, to fit in, and to do what other people want. And I release that. I release. I want to follow God's will for my life, whatever that is, whatever He's doing with me, through me, for me. I release. I release. I release that addictive pull to constantly see what is going on, because with social media it is very interesting. Like if we are not grounded in the spirit and in God's will, our pride can take over very quickly, and we want to get in there and we want to control things and do things a certain way to please other people, and I release that. I release it. We can get very attached to this world that is within our phones, and I have within me addictive behaviors that I get obsessed. I have obsessive compulsive things within me that really latch on to new things, and learning and studying and going to the Catholic Church. Like I can go every day, like I can be completely consumed in it because I'm learning so much and it's very fascinating to me. But that is not, like, we have to have balance in our lives, because I have a lot going on in my life and I can't just be hyper focused, And with social media, I mean, I'm used to having like 3 people watching my things, and whenever it's like turning into like hundreds and I'm getting a lot of comments, and I want to interact with it, and I want to see what's going on, and it's like those types of things can feed that ego within us, and it can be it can be like a dopamine hit, and it can bring in those those feelings of being seen and that approval seeking and just all these patterns that are unhealthy. And I've worked for years to see them, to recognize them, to not live in them. And so whenever they come up, I'm like, ooh, I see that. I see what's going on there, you know. But it's a practice. It's learning how to practice detaching from that and releasing it. And so I'm so grateful that I have practices in place today that help me to recognize first and foremost that I'm in a pattern. I'm in this way of being that I have been in the past, that I don't have to be today. I don't have to continue the same behaviors that I have had in the past that have kept me really sick, that have kept me pleasing people and performing for people and doing things to fit in or doing things to just, please others. Because that is not my life today. I want to, first and foremost, I want to please God. I want to hear His Spirit. I want to go where He is leading me, and whatever that looks like, I don't know. I've had a lot of comments and things come in, just like, what is an LDS person, doing, like, going to a Catholic church, and, just the Catholic Church is pagan, and, just a lot of things that's just, like, why are you doing this? I'm like, your guess is as good as mine. I strive to hear the Spirit. It's not even a striving anymore. I sit, and throughout my day and I want to hear the Spirit. I want to do the things in my life that help me to feel the Spirit. And who am I to judge what that looks like? As I'm asking and seeking and searching, I can't deny what He's teaching me or where He's bringing me. And so I don't know what's going on. I'm just listening and I'm just doing. And so there's just little things help me to stay connected to the Spirit. And for myself, essential oils have really, really helped me to be very present, to be very mindful, to bring my thoughts, my focus in line with the Spirit, and just to receive and to release and to do whatever else. And it's great aromatherapy, and they're great they have so many healing properties. And there was a reason why why the Magi brought frankincense and myrrh, and why Mary poured spikenard upon Him. Oils are biblical, and there's something to them. And I don't fully understand, but I know that I'm drawn to them and that they help me, that they have helped me in my life physically. I suffer with spinal issues, and so I use a lot of essential oils for all sorts of stuff, like lavender, bug spray. There's just so many things that we can use plants and oils for, for our body, and then for our mind to help us to get very present, to just breathing in peppermint can just open us up. It's just so fascinating how the different oils can help us in different ways. And there are scientific studies about all this stuff. It's just so amazing. And then with the spirit, you know, they just connect me to the spirit in ways that's just really incredible. So, I mean, I'm not trying to sell anything to anybody, but I'm just sharing my own personal experience with them, that they do help me. And I am curious if anyone else uses oils in that way, and if there's ways that I have not shared, like how you use them, because I just love them. And another little thing is, like, as I am in this process of really, like, focusing on my body and my mind and my spirit, and just clearing and cleansing and being more in tune and aligned, like, it's so amazing how so many things, I just am drawn to so many things, and I'm learning so many things, like fragrance, like just all the toxins that are in this world that are disrupting our body, that is making us sick, that is causing so many cancers and just so much stuff. And as I'm learning to purify my body, mind, and spirit, there are things that I'm just learning are just very toxic to me in the world that we live in today. And we cannot get away from a lot of the toxins, because it's just, that's the world that we live in. But we can limit those things so that our bodies can be healthier. And so one of those things that I have learned is the fragrances, like just all of the chemicals that they put into all these fragrances, and how it affects our bodies. And so that's another reason why I really enjoy essential oils, because they're pure, you know. And you got to find a good company. You got to find good, pure essential oils, because they're not all good. So that's a little something that I do. So I've got my frankincense, and I've got my rose, and then I've got my release this morning, just to release and disconnect, because I can get very drawn into people and to people's comments, and you know, it's a work in progress. Like, we all need to disconnect in that way, and just connect to the spirit and follow the spirit, and where the spirit is leading us in our lives, even if it's like, I'm not too sure about that, you know. Sometimes he brings us places and does things that is uncomfortable for us. So that's a little something that I thought I'd share with y'all this morning. And I hope y'all have a good day today. Until next time.